Some people wake up every day and feel the weight of simply being alive. Not sad, exactly. Not depressed in the clinical sense. Just tired. Tired of the routine. Tired of the performance. Tired of the endless cycle of waking up, going through motions, and doing it all again tomorrow. They're not suicidal. They don't want to die. They just don't want to exist in the way they're currently existing. And there's a profound difference between those two things. There is a psychology behind existential exhaustion. Research suggests that people who feel tired of existing often have high existential awareness combined with a disconnection from meaning or purpose. Their brains are conscious of the absurdity of existence, the repetition, the meaninglessness, the effort required just to maintain a life they're not sure they even want. Psychologists call this existential fatigue. Philosophers call it confronting the absurd, and the people living it just call it exhausting. They see the pattern clearly. Wake up, work, eat, sleep, repeat. For what? To do it again tomorrow, and the day after, until you die. And when you strip away the distractions, the goals, the achievements, the narratives we tell ourselves about progress, what's left is just existence. Raw, effortful, relentless existence. But here's the interesting part. People who are tired of existing are often the most thoughtful, aware, and deeply feeling people you'll meet. They're not lazy. They're not giving up. They're not broken. They're awake in a way that most people aren't. And that wakefulness is exhausting. I remember the first time someone asked me, "Are you okay?" And I wanted to say, "I'm not suicidal, but I'm so tired of being alive." But I didn't. Because how do you explain that to someone who hasn't felt it? How do you tell them you're exhausted by existence itself without them thinking you need to be hospitalized? So I said, "I'm fine." And I went back to performing life while feeling completely detached from it. That's when I understood. This exhaustion is invisible, and it's deeply misunderstood. Being tired of existing does not mean wanting to die. Sometimes it means wanting to live differently, but not knowing how. And that is something people who breeze through life will never fully understand. There is a unique psychology shared by many people who are tired of existing. They have high existential awareness. They think about life, death, meaning, purpose, and the absurdity of it all. And when you think that deeply about existence, it becomes harder to just go through the motions. You need a reason, a purpose, something that makes the effort worth it. But meaning is not guaranteed. Purpose is not handed to you. And for many, the search for it becomes more exhausting than the existence they're trying to escape. Every day feels like a performance. Get up, pretend you care about things that feel trivial, smile, engage, act like the mundane repetition of life is fulfilling. But underneath they're screaming, "What is the point?" Scientific studies show that existential exhaustion is linked to several psychological phenomena: burnout, anhedonia, depersonalization, and what Viktor Frankl called the existential vacuum. When life lacks meaning, even basic tasks feel unbearably heavy. It's not that they can't do them, it's that doing them feels pointless. But sometimes the world mislabels them. You're depressed. You need medication. You're just lazy. You need to try harder. Everyone feels like this sometimes. You're not special. These responses dismiss the reality of what's being felt. Yes, it might be depression, but it might also be a profound philosophical confrontation with existence that medication can't fix. Yet many of history's greatest thinkers, artists, and philosophers were tired of existing. They grappled with the absurd. They questioned the point. They felt the weight. And from that weight, they created meaning. Not because it was there, but because they built it. Maybe that's the hidden truth. Existential exhaustion is not always pathology. Sometimes it's awareness without anchor. It teaches you that life has no inherent meaning, which is terrifying. But it also teaches you that meaning can be created, which is freedom. Still, here's a curiosity. If they don't want to die, what are they really tired of? Sometimes it's the performance, the constant need to act like you care about things that feel meaningless, to engage with small talk, daily tasks, social expectations, all while feeling completely disconnected. They're tired of pretending the mundane is fulfilling, of acting like earning money to pay bills, to survive, to work more makes sense. Sometimes it's the repetition, the same patterns, day after day, the Sisyphean nature of existence, pushing the boulder up the hill only to watch it roll back down. Wake up, make coffee, work, eat, sleep, repeat forever until you die. The routine that comforts others suffocates them. Sometimes it's the awareness of mortality. They're acutely conscious that all of this, the effort, the striving, the pain, ends in death anyway. So what's the point of any of it? Why go through the motions if it all leads to the same place? Sometimes it's emotional exhaustion. They've been through too much, felt too much, carried too much, and now the idea of continuing to exist with that weight feels unbearable. They're not weak, they're just full. There's no more room for more pain, more disappointment, more effort. Sometimes it's disconnection from self. They've been living someone else's life for so long, meeting expectations, following scripts, doing what they're supposed to, that they've lost touch with who they actually are. And now they're tired of existing as this person they don't recognize.
Sometimes it's simply existential confrontation. They've looked directly at the absurdity of existence, the randomness, the meaninglessness, the effort required just to keep going, and they haven't found an answer that satisfies them. And living without answers is exhausting. But here's a secret people who are tired of existing rarely say out loud. They're not looking for someone to fix them. They're looking for someone to understand them. They don't need a motivational speech about finding purpose or choosing happiness. They need someone to sit with them in the acknowledgement that, yes, existence is heavy, and that's okay. Because when you're carrying existential weight, platitudes feel like insults. If you are someone who is tired of existing, you've probably felt very alone. You've probably been told to just be grateful or think positive by people who don't understand that gratitude doesn't erase existential fatigue. You've probably questioned if something is deeply wrong with you, if you're broken, if you're the only one who feels this way. You've probably Googled "tired of existing" at 3 a.m. and found either depression resources or philosophy forums, but nothing that quite captured what you're feeling. But what if nothing is wrong? What if you're just awake to something most people avoid thinking about? What if your exhaustion is not pathology, but a natural response to confronting existence honestly? Let me shift for a moment from talking about them to talking as one of them. I've spent years feeling guilty for being tired of existing, like I was ungrateful, like I had no right to feel this way when others have it worse. But then I realized something. This exhaustion wasn't about my circumstances. It was about the effort of existence itself. I wasn't tired because my life was bad. I was tired because life requires so much, emotionally, mentally, physically, just to maintain itself. And when you're aware of that, When you see the machinery of existence clearly, it's hard to stay motivated by the illusions that keep others going. That clarity is both a curse and a gift. And now it's time to talk directly to you. Because maybe you are one of these people. Maybe you've spent years feeling this bone-deep exhaustion that no amount of rest fixes. Maybe you're not depressed in the traditional sense. You're just tired. Tired of performing. Tired of pretending. Tired of the weight of simply being. But you know what? You're not broken for feeling this way. Yes, if you're experiencing clinical depression, please seek help. If you're having thoughts of self-harm, please reach out to a professional. But if you're experiencing existential exhaustion, the specific weariness of being conscious in an absurd world, that's a philosophical condition as much as a psychological one. Because the truth is, people who are tired of existing are often people who think too deeply to be comforted by shallow answers. They can't just live in the moment when they're aware that moments are fleeting and ultimately meaningless without constructed meaning. They can't just find their passion when they're aware that all pursuits are equally arbitrary in the grand scheme. Psychologists say that existential awareness without existential resilience creates this specific type of fatigue. You see the truth, but you haven't yet built a framework that lets you live with it. Your exhaustion is not a flaw. It's a stage, a confrontation, a dark night that some people pass through. It doesn't mean you never feel anything else. Exhaustion and hope can coexist. Weariness and moments of beauty can share space. You can be tired of existing and still find pockets of meaning. Still have moments where something, art, connection, beauty, truth, breaks through the fog and reminds you why you're here. Those moments don't erase the exhaustion, but they puncture it. And sometimes that's enough. Let's go deeper into the psychology behind this experience. Number 1, existential vacuum. Viktor Frankl. When life lacks meaning, people experience a void, not sadness, emptiness. And that emptiness is exhausting to carry. Number 2, anhedonia and emotional flatlining. This is the inability to feel pleasure. Things that used to bring joy now feel neutral. Not painful, just pointless. Number 3, depersonalization and derealization. Feeling disconnected from yourself or from reality. You're going through life but not inhabiting it. You're watching yourself exist rather than living. Number 4, burnout beyond career. This is life burnout. You're not tired of your job. You're tired of the entire structure of human existence as it's been presented to you. Number 5, high sensitivity to suffering. You see the suffering everywhere, yours, others, the world's, and the weight of that awareness is crushing. Number 6, existential confrontation with absurdism. You've touched what Camus called the absurd, the disconnect between human need for meaning and the universe's indifference, and you're stuck in it. But here lies a paradox. The people who are most tired of existing are often the ones most capable of creating profound meaning, because they can't rely on the default narratives. They have to build their own. And that building, while exhausting, can lead to something more authentic than most people ever find.
If you've been tired of existing for years and kept going anyway, you're stronger than people who've never questioned why they exist. You're carrying a weight they can't see, and you're still here. Yet being tired of existing doesn't mean you're done. It means you're in transition between an old way of being that no longer works and a new way you haven't discovered yet. And that in-between space is unbearably heavy.
Here's something personal, and maybe you'll relate. There was a period where every morning I woke up and thought, I have to do this again? Not suicidal, just exhausted by the prospect of another day of existing, of maintaining, of performing. I wasn't depressed by traditional measures. I was functioning. I was getting things done. But inside, I felt like I was carrying a weight no one else could see. The weight of consciousness itself. What helped wasn't finding my purpose. It was giving myself permission to exist without one for a while. To stop demanding that my life means something grand and just be. Even if that being was tired and confused and pointless. And in that permission, slowly, quietly, small things started to matter again. Not because they had cosmic significance, but because they were here, and so was I. Still, the world will always try to convince you otherwise. Society says you need purpose, passion, goals, that you should be grateful, optimistic, driven. But the truth is, sometimes you're just tired, and that's human. You may be tired of existing, but that doesn't mean you always will be. This is not a permanent state, it's a confrontation. And on the other side of it, some people find a different relationship with life. Not naively optimistic, but consciously chosen. They build meaning not because it's there, but because building it is the only response to the absurd that makes existence bearable. And because you feel the weight of existence, when you do find meaning, even small, temporary, personal meaning, it matters more. You don't take it for granted. You don't sleepwalk through it. You know how precious it is because you know how absent it can be. You're the person who understands that life is not inherently meaningful, which makes you free to create meaning that's actually yours. And maybe that makes you rare in a world full of people following inherited scripts. There is a beautiful quality people overlook. Those who are tired of existing often become the most compassionate. They know what it's like to carry invisible weight. So when someone else is struggling, they don't offer platitudes, they offer presence. They don't say, everything happens for a reason. They say, this is hard, and I'm here. So let me talk to you directly now, clearly, honestly. You are not broken for being tired of existing. You are not ungrateful. You are not weak. You are someone confronting the hardest questions humans can ask, and that confrontation is exhausting. If you're in crisis, if you're having thoughts of harming yourself, please reach out. Call a helpline, talk to a therapist. You deserve support. But if you're just tired, existentially, philosophically, deeply tired, that's valid too. You don't owe anyone enthusiasm for a life that feels heavy. You don't have to perform gratitude you don't feel. You're allowed to be tired. You're allowed to not know why you're here. You're allowed to go through the motions while you figure it out. One day, something might shift, not because you found the answer, but because you stopped needing one. Or because you built a small answer that's enough for now. Or because you just got used to carrying the weight and it became less unbearable. Until then, keep going. Not because you have to, not because there's some grand purpose demanding it, but because you're still here, and maybe that's enough for today. Because people who are tired of existing aren't giving up. They're enduring something most people never have to face, the full weight of consciousness. And every day you continue despite that weight is an act of profound courage. Keep existing, even when you're tired of it. Keep breathing, even when it feels pointless. Because the people who are tired of existing are often the ones who, eventually, learn to exist most authentically. Not because life gave them meaning, but because they created it from nothing. And that is one of the most human things you can do.